Mame Emma Watson, aha, Adom TV. Nnawotwe dwumadie, memenda bia ye de sa dwumadie eba. Enkomo ye die no ye ensem bia etwagu Nnawotwe ne mu na enne ye famu de di akotene pa. Be semienu na ye sanse nkonwa na ye demu nkomo biem. Dwumadie sanso ye live ewo Asempa 94.7 edian mejeso enne abena pokuwa. Wennie na enne enkomo no ene sede tie nsema kase mienu na Nnawotwe edi akotene baako eye Chief Justice Gertrude Kunu ya Justice Poaman abedwaku mampani gina article 144 so epa wo mo so mo enye ehwehwemu na eye ne sune ne ban bi odenadie bra na odi ne dwuma eso manyi a lawyer for ne judge for nyina kandifo no na afeyi wo mo emu ho akonta ne nyina ye nkrata bi a branch friend Daniel Rufuri na eye stars bi rising stars bi ne nipa bi e ka ho na enyina so titiwa mampani ejina futu abedwako ne de ba ye eyi no de na eye Daniel Ofori ne sama wode ekoye na ye wo mo eyi no na edin sebisa bebi no na eba se anamontu no ya mampani atuo ne pamo wapamo mame no afiri dwumadie so akamfie nwotwe ansa na wakona homegiem ayemra na ekasa anase amanyosem wo mu na ebo saboni bi to honom edema omayi yatemu adwumako no ana ena yebedi mu nkomo edranchen so a yebesha Akwatia by election nano benada ekoso ekwawi akire na lawyer Baden Bedu yono na NDC e file no edi nkunim omaji seat no afi NPP nsembra na ekita wura NSC yakomi obade fa de kransie ye ensem esisi ye edroso de omaye bo masum mentime ho ase a sorry ekwawi akire NPP edi petition akwakoma IGP ewo womo chairman chairman Masawud ya sofo azokamrante bi bo na sum ene ensem bi esisi ya NPP omo eboanyo so anopai ye bedi no sum nkomo na ya hwede yakosi ensem no droso de ye nyina so a ka ho biema NPP edi ntwo ewa Akwatia by election mu no ye bedi san nkomo no nyina wo hanom anopai e de mabedwafo aye krado ye ntwe ho emra medal madina fei yase enkomo no ase na Nnawotwe dwumadie na ogusu a wo hye no na madikan abo amane se Chief Justice Gertrude Kunu wo sha ebra ye enkrata komampani atena ye ya na ebimo ye obruni beka se petition ye enema bi a waye ebra ne dwumadie se Chief Justice a nipa ne soso se entwa ye de ne petition de kwa ye nyina so a omaye Chief Justice me kan se kani Chief Justice Gertrude Kunu afiso no Daniel Ofori na ne nyina so ne bi na se Chief Justice ebra na odi ne dwuma no wone ne kunu etu kwan ekọ Tanzania one ne baba tu kwan ekọ US sa kwan tu no mokoye eka wode beto oman so pedie mokra ne kunu no ene ne ba na agi ye nyina no na ne nyina no omo endeserve omo nsem fata se omo sa ebeka se sika no nti omo abo oman no ka eno eka ho bi edanchen so apanyi ba kwa fe no Ra Baden ya wono so no womo se wo o transfer no wo bra na womo enhyehyɛ ya womo edididwuma no etia no eno so eka ho na eno achi nso no aye adwenkyɛ ne susue bi a wode mampani sabre no ese omo mode emfa mpanyifo ne bi emra emeka judge fa wonom ewo Supreme Court no so no dodo na eka se sa na monto na otuye no etia aye amamra no ene enhyehyɛ na yenhwɛ obi ebisa se anya bia no Chief Justice aye nui oye de odi kan wo Ghana ya mamo ene abakosemu a yeyi na fi so ese Chief Justice anase ebi asipen eno ho enkomo ene eye akontabuo na ye behwe no anopai nti enkomodie no ejina mu hwa omampani Mahama se de medikan abo wamane no waye Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokunu afri na konya so ese Chief Justice na abosumi nsia na ekokoye emra ehuntokwa ya na Chief Justice awokoyi Gertrude Kunu ene aban no entemo a akwadea basa ma ekowi atikrompo no ekowa skotako akopimo ewo hom na wo hye enyinaso no a article 146 ye wo ya mamrani mu no na omampani ejina so otrega ye na petition a omanfo bi de baye no wode eye adwuma afa yenhye na yemisase enamuntu na akoso no ebiesipen we ye didi kan na eno so ye hwa amanebo no ekire mu ekosise ebiesipen na eno no eye osanabo some no ne deto so edunso afia pema hankron aduosia miensa na esi enti no we second time a sitting chief justice etie kunyam yayi no afiso enti na afia pema hankron aduosia miensa na esi ye osagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Sabre na oye mampani Charles Akokosa ene chief justice ana ote konya so Sabre no ene wo yi no efiri so ewo 1963 nti ebiesi pen de esi na wotwe we mu no eye de to so emienu na wo hwa edien na ema no ba sa esi sen na omo chese December 17th 1963 ene edapotia enkrata no omampani dada Kwame Nkrumah ede ba ya odi eyi Charles Akokosa efiri akonya so na obekaya obi bebre na wo mu ensusue mu no Sabra afia pema hankura de osiam yensanse mesiye no no mo chese entwaye etia oman no amamra ene enhyehyaya yede eyadwuma enti yemisa se eba ne sen na esiye na eyo sanabosum da edikan wa afia pema hankron ade osiam yenu 1st August 1962 na kulungugu ye no ewo atifi empotam honom no wo mo chese omampani dada Sabre Kwame Nkrumah otu kwan kwa Burkina Faso nti ofiri honom na oba Ghana no oduru kulungugu na chese a school 4 edijuma bi omu display fefefe na wo yeso obegina ema wo gina ya nanka agya wo konkwada yi nchen akobo mabaso sade ye mpanyefo eyeyi na sie wo sie ne kwa wo konkwada na wo mu e display edi agro nchen ama ene Sabre mampani abehunu kwara fefefe na chese na bambofo ne bi ehunu ni ntem ntamane ne chese wo mu hunu ye no 1st August Sabre na 1962 no ye ni mpanyefo bia na ebo no ban no epia ne to fom no oda ne so ebo no ban ye se to paye ni jamusa no school fo nkoda nipa na ma na atete na no ye den ana eye assassination na nipa bi ehwe so mo beku Sabre mampani osagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah na asem ni siye na wonya ne ti edidi mu no wo mu echi enipa enum ena ewo ha ye beka se 5 defendants na wo mu esusu se wo mu ena boss apo no na opeso oyo mampani dada efi honom enti sanipa num ene court mo ekoye no na judge ne wote adwam eye Charles Akokosa wone ne judge na wote adwam Sabre no ma ye aseni ne to asoa from 1962 ede kokosi 63 jese afimu anesa ena aseni no eba na wiye na enipa enum no emumiensa omantumenya kodu bi amfa ama wom ntide wo se yeja wom no mokọ mienu ena kwadu bo wom sa atemu no a Charles Akokosa edebaye no omampani dada na ni anye ho se enipa miensa woja wom se womanya enyinaso bi echese womuni masem na asie no ho bi na eno ena eye enyinaso a omampani dada osagefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah edi eyi chief justice no efi honom animdifo bebre no ekaseti aye enti yemra eneyi afia pema hankura duosia miensa animdifo na wo mu enimumrasem ekaseti ese anamona wotuye no antwa yie eneyi so de asie animdifo cheso mampani eni na bedwakwa na mona wo moto no antwa yie article 146 clause 9 ya yeka eho asemi no experts bia enimu emremu chese ehadwene kakra ehadwene esanse na de mane hadwene kese ne se abedwakone de wo mafuto mampani se yi nipa na dia o mampani ni ho asem bia ka de abedwakona ka no article we chese mampani wo so de yadwuma ya wontumi enka bibia emfa ho na ebi susu krompo chese article 146 clause 8 na massa tumini ni sana moto we kra edi kan hyase kosisi ye beyi chief justice afi ho no emwa Ghana emma atemu adwumako no wo mu enya saa fa hode na mo de beye adwuma no nti wo se ensakraye ebam we ani abakosem kakra chief justice akonya so bia kwa na so bia nkoda na maboso ama wono tie ne yesi nkonya ye ne lawyer for ebe kasa na yaji enchimu bia ewo ho no ma wo se wo mo de emayen ye basisia enkomo no a ena yeguso a yede ma wo no na sede enkomodie no etie no ye mpanyefo ni bi ebeka me ho ewo studio ha na ebi nso adwone yen ewo zoom na fe yede ahyehye so na yedi kan ewo ajagefo ensensem Supreme Court ayidie yo mampani Mahama agina Justice Paul na bedwako no so ayi Justice Tokono edi so onkotena fi no ehun sema eba edroso pa na mpanyefo amnyom bedi dwuma ye benya Yera John Agbote ono private legal practitioner ewo ha sanso na Joseph Azuma mrasebedwani a owo adanse akrofo mabato empesua no so yebeko zoom na ye ne Richard Ahiagba ono NPP Director of Communications ye ne ono so ebedin koba Akwatia sensem no ye ne ebedin komo Shamima Muslim Deputy Spokesperson ewo mampani atenaye na Yewra Kwame Adofo so ye constitutional lawyer empanyifo ni omo ye ne omo ebekasa ebedin komo dwumadie so na hyewe mame eba sisia
Article 146 Committee of Inquiry abanyete yese wono entena se no wono hwehwe petition na hodo a amanfo bi edebati a Chief Justice Gertrude Saba tokuno ho no ene wono do hwehwe mu di kan akwakodan omampanyin John Dramani Mahama na we na bra wono de won hwehwe mu akwakodan omampanyin John Dramani Mahama ena tetene ne no da committee yi ano Justice Gabriel Scott Poorman kasa no wode nsem wesi etudwa.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, in March this year, you received 3 petitions pursuant to Article 146 of the Constitution 1992 for the removal of Chief Justice Gertrude Asaba Araba Sakitokon, and the public was made aware of this fact. Subsequent processes dictated by the Constitution and the decisions of our Supreme Court were gone through, culminating in the establishment of our committee under Article 146, Clause 6 of the Constitution. The nation was further duly informed, and when we commenced our work on the 15th of May 2025, the Minister of State for Government Communications was briefed and notified the public about it. There has been considerable interest in our work, shown through comments and opinions by Ghanaians and international observers as well.
Omampanyin John Dramani Mahama ene ejina Article 146 Clause 9 and 1992 Constitution mo say Chief Justice Leadership Justice Gertrude Arabe Saba Sakitoko no ojina juma e de free nsem efri ene ekro. Omampanyin esi segina ye wabra basonko bia wote se wono mo fanya hwehwemu ahodo emfamfa kwadu bia Daniel Ofuri e de bebo Chief Justice ewo enem bia wo kiremu a enya de se koyi ewo no dwumadie emo yebekaya bese wo so mekakra etwemu na omampanyin eje to free Council of State who are no one say Justice Tokunu on Fana Juma and Chin Sukakrana Shimahudu be a fakodo wodo a day abono one more envy as a woman with Shimon in Anna so Sefata so San Nejuma mana one more a day amano nemono so on Sam Fata one more amanda Nejuma at Honomo and then I'm summer and day Justice Poorman in a committee one more ewi Sa Shimahudu Nina one more actually say and name be a Yakuchiri Ediagu Article 146 Clause 1 1992 Constitution no Chief Justice ebunu nyina so no nam so amani wono de afutu ama mampanyin se wobetumi asiginaye e de afa Justice Sukunu ensemiye ehu ana o mampanyin so etumi krona ehye no se afutu bi a committee de bema no no sa pepepe e na obedi so na waye na wankrata ne free bank siemu ebaya kasamafo de mampanyin John Dramani Mahama ena afi oswafo no hwe abankita hodi ensem so Felix Kwachefu so nsa hyase akire se efri ene ekro leadership Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Sakitokunu enya de se woye otimwafo panyi ewo man mu ebiom na we ena wasankrata ne mu no hono ma kire se committee a wono mo eti yese wonya asem mu hwehwemu no wofa kwankroje so ena sene Ghana amamna no so esie ena wono mo edidi wonjuma wono mo akwenya ama Chief Justice ayebo no kwadu ena afa kwadubofo Daniel Ofori mu nyina eba be yinsemisa awodo ano a eno eboaye ema wosi gina ye ne wono mo esie.
Look, now, international community, there isn't that much of respect for the country as we know. As a democracy, na man for my boy say no. Atitia pansam.
Is a man for muye democracy?
No, na say you see, idea see you know. So we do a so to form we do any mupana. You understand the position of the minority as expressed in the statement we issued.
Okay.
That what happened had nothing to do with law. No. So, it's just clothed in some form of constitutional procedure, but in it, politics. I say the ntuma edra politics no and the yamana as a fit as a constitution. But indeed and in fact, it's just politics pure and simple. But we see, I give you the NDC. It is politics, they have played well. Umu ama Ghana for Ajia tum say a yamrane ye juma. But a yamrane ye juma, a politics, but uma cover home say a yamra, and that is
cover politics no.
Yes.
And I J Emran watch
and komono sedia ekoye na wotwe ne mu bi e na yaboboso ama wotiro na emrasebedwane wo adanse akrofo mabato empesua ne so yura Joseph Azuma e wo ha mache
mini aba meje so
let's say
nyame Adom
constituency
you go so em say me ba about a week ago and next Saturday
and
then 1 week I me ba could be 1 week me name DC launch policy be may target to register first 1,000 Okada riders.
Okay.
The issue licenses at the moment. One of the second major means of transport in the constituency. Until I know your idea about what I employ nipa 2,000 plus.
Okay.
Until the first 3 years, you know, me team buana 1,000 licenses. And me advocate for more one casa private my omodia no a boa mo accident no so e ba form
okay
na a boa mo money MTT the for no so ntemu da bia ya cho ne ade no so e ba form te no ya 110 me ye football pitch and other sports facility e the amame constituency for no so
okay
e wa kru from baby friends Methodist school park and so ya do level bi amekoye no ko hwe ya and so me hwe na ya award baby ya award contract won chen said e be bitimanya dressing room dia ma omon person ko bobo ni ade ade no and so you go so many assembly phone ko din ko ma ya start ya initiative process no we are no so free hono mo ma baya bi friend Teresa or represented district no e wo otumfo me boni din anaja ma bo me mo so
okay
wonim sa sante man so ye ni da we jam ya mami ya die nyina odon so sebe nti yi kase to amencha anasa mencha santeman and so represent constituency no and district no wotum for community reading competition on so be friend ba my officer menene din komo kasa ya me share no kran ya on so me man no 10,000 cedis
okay
say onfa mwa na omonhwe nyen totu ye man on wan kasa so pe kakra share no bottom said the bear should be near the on one super obetimi db ay oya kwala abaya keto afi no wanya be mfi edu baako
wow
edu baako Teresa nti ono so and na me wia me briefing no say last week na also moko na me tie de e course
okay
say plane crasher yem pese yete ho asem aircraft or DAC wo me constituency no so Thursday before the Saturday I remember no so na was a omampani asoma anase wo two the national chairman Johnson Asidu Nketia so o meka Ashanti regional minister hono munsi na nam na yenkoda sikama bufu for nase nti ya woda no yekoda o mase ya woda etwa mu ne na wohwe yekoda o mase ema
ewo constituency
yes ewo community o
okay
yema ni just because na me feel say yes we nipa ya dia e wom say atorangem ne see but the nkromi enu ne ye de ma me constituency for ne na why they are no so omampani say obeye kwan na e wo kwadwon kwanta e kono a omode ama contract no obehwe ama omawie na also be see two different community centers they ama food sikaman and mabunu bi omo so we mu so ye pese ka de ma omo so be ma obia adwuma obetimi aye Tubusa me am say anhwe ya na me de obra ni nyina akoka me constituency asem but enema kakra akoso akrofum constituency eno no
okay
yenya kwanya die na
na also kan nyina yes ye de man wa kan nyina that's nice but koso na bodwuma
mencha wa onso
ye je also
and then they din kan ya me ne we share on the show
yeah
but my show from afar
yeah that's
excellent
thank you
why you join Ashanti region da na
na Eastern region
oh okay okay station
me ko agu me ko hai
me be mo abeka wo
ba di na ye me da senti anase akrofo mra hye bedwade na wo kye dwuma wa ye wa hu se de tie no but ye hwe chief justice enkomo no na ye de e hyase ba me misa wo obi bi bisa se we no eyemra anase eyamanyosem ebi kra se amanyosem ne bro emra no so e wo sankomodi mu sana hu no
ma men chat fo na omo mo hwe Adom TV ne memende ne omo amo ekwa yi omo anya yi ye ma omo nyina ekose yakọ ne show mu crime say nyina nso efiri ebikobi ntina eja me so maje media me firi amen kofi ameto aso na ma tietie nsama eba ye no atietie bia say menua a obeka me omo so ye lawyer
yeah
I'm yet to meet Obia Obeti Mama specific law Obia in breach. Abina Buso and I said the processes and occur in Abuso. Say constitution and I establish a government. I establish a judiciary, the legislative arm of the government, and that of the executive. And into Mradon, I will say a bema Obia, better than Obia, Obia, quite was of us within the Juma. Na obia ni ho ayeye na Nyankopon ewo ye mra nim so ono de yentu na de so on the forever and ever on tra ho de opebia wonye mra no wo ho na ensure checks and balances se be ya obia mfili se ono de ye kana enkantina wo de mra hye ne se na de opebia obeye eno nti na article 146 no ewo ho na kasafa kwan e be fa so a obi ye electoral commission oye bibi na office ene mra no ebo abra kwan was or the faso obi chief justice any idea the akwa ye kan nyina no President Mahama that's obampani no me hu ne rule bia specific idea bi ono na aye a wode ne pen ye de oman mra na ejina so ana yekoto aba ana Ghana fo yi ni so onye omampani Ghana fo yi ni so onye omampani no yede ne nwumadi a anase dwuma wo so ye no ya kire na se ABCD na edwuma wo so wo ye na mpo no ye kan akoka se wa amfa sa mre ya anya edwuma kora yitimi gina so etu pamon che se wa anya wo dwuma yi ye impichu ente yo mampani na sede ye nhye se o hwa ye se o de sa constitution ne be ye edwuma se na de ahye ne nsa o de ye edwuma eno nti ede na aba the aba ne say yes we a chief justice wonye Nyankopon ya kire o se na wo so ye wadwuma se na bidi kan sha se me kan ya no na se obi susu wo man nim se senior chief justice wo ye na dwuma yi wabu mra obi so a onye petition no mfa nkomo mampani se wo mampani hwehwem na me fi se ABCD adia chief justice ya emwa oman no atemu eku anase na dwuma wodi se pani a oda atemu anu oman mu ha enti so omo de kwa yeso omampani gikra omo so emfa nkoma ye kan say state council of state na council of state emomu miem no mu nhwem no mo meka asemo nchiro omampani se o ye hwe mu no de aba no eni nyina so obi anti omampani to twene anasa o meka nchiro omampani se ampa o ye hwe mu no ye hunu bibi wo mu a se sa na asem no tie de a ene na anu adi enti pa bojuku a o mekwa ko hwehwem no mo de ho amadebo de abrewo oje ye no se ne mra na se wonye no e wa take 146 no ene wodi so and or the petition ma Council of State. Council of State, ye wo nipa ba kon be first region bia no. Ye wo rep ya to abayi no. And or that's our region no. Omo to abayi no. 2 assembly members from every district in the region. In the Ashanti region, you are about 43 or so. Districts and municipalities. 2 assembly members each. And a quarter abayi nipa no. so me gina region and ye former chief justice IGP and other people be a constitution here say e was in your moon rep nipa baako
okay
no ebeka ho enti council of state ne yabajoku a sebe mpreduasa enye party bi nkofo ena sebe enye nkofo bi keke ena ewo ho so enne obi otie mi bia pese ohwe na okogego na ohwe council of state onim kra na okọ na ohwe a ubehu so omo ho no eye a lawyer for mpadimfo bi ebi ye businessman mpadimfo bi ebi teacher mpadimfo soldiers we eye omo adwene mu dobi mpadimfo bi na ewo ho ena ye de ade we koto wo manim omo hwehwe mu no ena omo say ye wo anyinaso wo ma ekire say e wo say hwe anyesa we enka ne ma yetugu no ho na se ne ye odi begi se sa na tie dia ena na no edin omode bae no ya kire mra na akro na kire nipaku a wo say form ye say yenko say Supreme Court justices mienu ena o mampani no appoint wo mo na yemfa nipa miensan kan ho a omo nye MPs omo nye lawyers na omo nye nipa dum na yemfa charges no anase petition no emfa mo na omo ni omo ye hwehwemu na omo fa no yemra o mampani aye wodi nipa a wose ye bo omudin ebeto abonten petition aye de bre na obo so de ma council of state omo de bae no number of days I was edikura ansa na ye de amanipa na ya bo no charges na ye chief justice no anso wa ma ya mopum kura na de ma na say menu aba ana say leadership we din nsemo a abeto manima be de council of state no omo say ye hwehwe wasem no omo tima establish prima facie chese nyina so kakra I was a hwehwem enti enie
okay
enti enieje na omo be frewo no mati wano asem na de omo de baba bia na ye de adwuma constitution no san say se san pa abadwoku numu no de omo foundings ne ba send your makana no pepepe ana omampani no fa nya adwuma omo ntimi ma meka so omampani ye hwehwe mu no nyina so ni manyi no na omampani se manya ka se meyi no ana se meni ade ma mu no meyi no o ntimi nye ana omo ntimi nka so omampani yi no osidabi minyu omo say constitution say the committee no de beba no sab kwan no sab fundings na na fa ye adwuma eno omo de bae omo afrew wako court ana wa woda no a wona na wo ye chief justice no empa bibri wa hihye nkofo sebi yesusu se wa hihye nkofo achi kra mo bi kra ye a whole lot of interventions se nkomo ye interventions amount ebi de se menua Ashanti region MP baako ono kwa na sha ase asefua vese
okay
ni nyina court kro na wote ho na wona wodi court no so no justices awo na omo ho na de tena nsem no bi so anase ni nyina ekọ court no so na omo se da bi we die ye kasa ye ma enye adwuma enye yi ya ma
but ma mimi sase ensem bia omampani mahama ekeka no in opposition emu baako eye the day one NDC lawyer focus here mami ready brofo a kan ye e wo honom was say it will take a new chief justice to repair broken image of judiciary omampani mahama e ka say e beto gese oman no ebenya chief justice a ye ka say me foforo ansana ye ka atemu adwumako no a asa omani mu a egu ase ene se de nipa kora ni gidi wo mu ni ade no e besesa it fast forward free 2022 na abai December 2024 na se 2025 ya ti petition ho se meba ye bebre ko wi akire finally mampani se wayi panyin no afi hɔ no a na kyese eye pobi a mobo ye in opposition na maba mu de ye adwuma obi emasa conclusion na oyen from so
on 31st July 2024 Minister for Security Ghana National Security Minister yes ne fa ne kandapa and another don ko kufa don ba omi aben a government or say in fact sani nipa nigidie any reshemu wo ye judicial system no mu no a problem what say yehwe because nipa gidie a omo wo judiciary no mu no asini trase
but
na oye
nka wo yi ma no before wo ko ha ya kamani
be di wa no a kire wo say
nti no kanda pade no beba but asema mampani ka no 2022 ene de asi ne obi ka se ya adwen kese a mo faye se mo ba chief justice bia wo ho no mo beyi no e de mo de aba ene de asi ne so bi konkulu se no na mo pese mo ya ena mo de akose constitution article 146 ena maya oni pa wa from so
ena na me chire ma chire wo say enyo mampani pe ena na wo problem ana say owo concern the way ana judiciary no eye na niama Mo Ibrahim the research and other researchers including the then national security minister Kandapa omo nyina raise concerns about the trust of the general public in the judiciary.
Jomo ka say o see nya chief justice for
oh na so obi ase de ekọ de nya de be kire ne say e wo se ye nsesamu na nsesamu no so wo so nya nyina so o kire na adwene say the national security minister kire na adwene no say judiciary no enjina yi enti after all okaya anyo na the petition here dey ekoye nipa o the petition no koye no ho enye president Muhammad the petition no koye so the fact that ono so wo concern because of the nipakuo bebra no ana ye kasa kire no enti the president Muhammad ko kan ye no na ye the nipa dodo na obo Ghana ha eka and as obia opeso obeyo mampani na odakuo kese anu Adom kese edi chi wonim say abaye koto ya onya almost 57-58% no ukwa na ko biso mom koto aba na ebi kura to aba ma na say omra na judiciary no ma say yes samu wo
eno ye wo research awaya
me research ama me say me to aba say be ya o mampani be research o man no including that judiciary and me man fa petition an ko do obi di petition akwa na say enyo mampani de trance eye petition no de oye ya na say maje me de ama mo so mo de aba me de ama we no we mu de aba me de ama na ebo na to abonten no
okay
onye boni bia
ono bo zuma me da se ma me ko eye
asamusi ye no
me ko zuma mra
yo mate
na ento aso lawyer John Agote eye private legal practitioner counsel Martin counsel adarma o mute wa na ye nton kan dem watching
meje osubi ni aba
geda sinibra wanyama yen CJ ya omampani agina ye abedwako ye hwehwemu na afutu so ayi no na ye di monkomo yi ensem na koye bebre babia wo firi ne emra no sede wonim no anamontu we emra wom pa anasa manyosem ne wom
yo me da say me chia ahwefo nyina na yetifo nyina na de wo mu ne say yes ye emra no sede yetie ne dia ne no kura nyame anim ye hwe article 146 ene emu nsem a watro ne de kwan ye say ye fa so eyi chief justice no every office dia ne de be kan say president ni omo a wa appoint your money council of state no omo edi emra no so pepepe
na afi yenhwe ensema bi mo eka ene se allegations ana se kwadu omode ebo chief justice a omode yi na fi honom no enye bibie mu ye dura e wosenka etumi eyi chief justice fi ho woni omo ya adwen
hono de men to me kase meni wo mu eya adwen na se meni omo nya adwen esan se evidence a omode kodan committee no menye privy to it me share me hu sa evidence no but they wo mu ni say one who say yemfa no free ha constitution say wo nyina so bi say chief justice no aye nyoma ba ko menu bia entwa ananse ni kwam and you know, say a unifree officer, over petition the Akoma president. And the man in Asono, be a stated misconduct. And I be our yari, and I be our incompetent. And I say, Jumana Diamano, then a hunim diano, Nidiano, our form, Ntinya de Bitumia. And to the man in some way, oh, and who in Aswa, or the Beka for 9 presidents in a petition. Now, presidents into the Ama Council of States. Now, say, emotion, I say, and in Asu, moi, almost the Ama, ya forming committee, I'm wishing. Now, and I'm kind of Mran Casadia said the Mran City of Constitution, and in the Omodina, Quamodina Fason, and from Soviet. But the Rebecca said, Emrana Casano call Emrano insider. A honor me as a lawyer, no me with your work lawyers and as a women can lawyers your work problems in Kitty.
Okay.
For instance, before I say, if they sing in I say, who are some TSA will be Yano. I say, it's one Casa, who ye Nipana, as some found the city. According to fair trial protocols, a work constitution. So, yet, they won't want some Akwatia president. Now, President Bema Chief Council of State, now Omo Akasan Power, some so be here no. So, as that who are some found. I said, also, ye tier one son, ya Amakasan Pa, so one as a Nasuni. By concession, a hono, a lacuna from a lacuna. Concession is meat on that. But a hono to Chief Justice, no, a can want some man, yet the petition no man. I'm an issue one son. A year Council of State, a bell. The lacuna about what say fair hearing a honor a two sikakra. But here, yes, I want problem. And he said, appointment of the committee now, as a commission, the committee now, you did 2 minutes share on my penning son. I'm also so a honor your own problem, kakra. And say, sir, you did 2 minutes on panel a share presidency, same sir. Say, oh, ye judges for me, you know. And uyu nso yi nipa miensa omunye lawyers omunye judges omunye say won say yes as a president ni na ss or this nipa 5 ni na no eba na say wo president ebia me president me mpe wasam wo chief justice na person me you are very easy na de na e fi say nke ye ni say sa committee na nka betina se no nka yen fancy constitution mu say bia Shiraj boss because you other independent bodies to say electoral commission to say Shiraj one was other bodies no yen can say omo de da no we ya omo da no am hia maybe the head of civil service and there and also kan ho e say ya committee no area positions and say individuals are present na nkasa be han piki enti a hono enti sa mempe wasamo a enipa no a meyi omo no omo enipa me megidi sa omo beti masa na se dem mepe no omo ya mame okay and a problem I was this very case no who say president before so babedi president no na waka o campaign mo say oba ebibisa. And the man for say, okay, and the Timpono boy, a brand of opposition, or buy a no, and on one cassa, a shake with Pia, on one young junior dada, and till the day easy. I don't think I say, MPP follow, so I can say a politics now, almost play. But we share and run and cassa said, yes, it's in the and for so be any process now, you can affirm.
Nti, said ye can we know. Na, lawyer ni back so I make kind in some wakano. What say was so minor to mission na omo categorize misconduct no so beka say obi ni kunu ene ne ba atukwan o minor mamo pedie ma na woni say wo gese sika no etumi yenyina so say yeyi wafi honom esan say constitution no answer dan tremu ye it is a misconduct no se na so beka emu de wen na emu be ye dru say ye be wafi ho ene emu de wen ene beka so wayem from so de na so asotwe sei na oman no de ma wo ebraso wo se constitution e hye e categorize some misconduct no a enkwesa assembly enti no ye chief justice
yo on say misconduct. You can misconduct. Very wide. And you see, yeah, bridge. Say, be a to me state. You see about a checklist of what constitutes misconduct. The list to be unending.
Okay.
I be at the time. I say, ubodi books in the way at na bomu krana and sanda. Ebini say order ne yiri ne kumwa etukonya ya can find as misconduct. But there me feel say and say e be to me the some ba ko menu me some be say bia conduct affect e be the public purse. Na conduct affect the performance of the duty as a chief justice. And na conduct any gross misconduct. Na ya chem say gross misconduct ni say e hono me lawyer no they were trying no but just that a very broad concept you see you categorize and I say you checklist you read that and until me to say ordinary say me anka ebia ya because so ordinary ni kun and I say ni etukwan and I say ni matukwan it shouldn't be classified as stated misconduct. Ebia you find say okofa obi a onye ni area and I say ni kun na tukwan ya na ya stated misconduct. Bibi sa but eno so be and no constitutional and article 296 am my discretion to exercise. And they are appointed with the two mission with sir. To me no say no in a very unbiased manner. Said the beya unko bu attentia or be. And they say you're not a committee in so bu attentia. And also so much some of us here can another day.
Okay. Mate na mame fa we ma na mene wo ewie. Ya who said the former chief justice Sophia Akufo ade se bia be tudwa odi ya wo esansa na o kan witnesses a chief justice omaye no ekoye esoso ekoka ne de ekowie chi no ono no nsem okokan no aliki afri abadwako ne hodma ba bonten de bi kan se at a point chief justice a wafi hoyi edia de sekwa sen ko pese proceedings ni nyina ne hwehwemu na omoye ene a entenase ni nyina no emra bonten na TV so na obi an hyebi no omo se oman no emra etia se beba bonten wo se ye kokuom it is a kokuom na se a former chief justice abaye witness ama aye nipa wodi nsenseme no a na kowie che ne sem o kan ye nyina no eda bonten wodi ya e wo sade e koso no wo hunu fonso bi wo ho
fonso because Akwatia yedi judging for justices of superior higher courts of a competent jurisdiction or superior courts. Any chief justice pass to a year of free office. So Akwatia constitution say no kukum. And non tina chief justice no free office. Oka say Fembra TV Sunni radio Sunni amount for BNT say that it will be unconstitutional to do that. And they said, witness be akoma obi akoma ni evidence. Na sa evidence no elikia. And the olikia no wafum emra, wafum constitution.
Nti eno sa no chief justice former chief justice say okono na paparazzi bi ani ho na media bi ani ho witness kra na omo gina mo mada ne oforia ono di petition ko no obi ani mo besi ene nti say abedwako no tumi ma information bi etise e ba bonten a woni mo die mo no e wo semra no kasa abedwako no e wo say hodom responsible ana
say you want na so sa abedi committee no the mamin kan say the way I would you know say a concron ne can try na it's a committee you know you want na so sa omo na mo de sa ensem no epedia and the omafumra it to me chief justice ni lawyers e kwan ya ye de omo so efaso
argument the dosso e bi chese chief justice ni dwumade se chief justice na o manager obetumi asan kodi ni dwumade ese judge ni enokre
but as the meme hu ye no as you say onye chief because na the ni enim say process I dey ye want me process na emi no
okay
the you free so as chief justice anonko and I want the you free so as a judge of a superior court and also non-con. But they didn't have family the free office as Chief Justice. But I may say, I mean, say if what I read was correct, I may kind of say in free as Chief Justice and judge of the court of the Supreme Court, of the Supreme Court. I don't know, Saturday, let's say, because a coin on say a coin, you know, you do find far you as Justice of the Supreme Court. You do for Benkuma, you as Chief Justice. Now, all the mere for Benkum, who we are, or say, what's you made free so as Justice, dear. And then I said, because court between me, I said that the quite more fast, not more the fast, so be me as Chief Justice. Man, family and father, me free you as Justice of the Supreme Court But the woman say, at the end of the day, you so and a ground, sir. You so every office as the Chief Justice, you know. And then the so you free as Justice of the Supreme Court. Then you know your pet.
Okay.
Many nice stated misconduct, incompetence, and maybe ill health and answer incapacitation. And you know, idea someone say I'm passing a man in trans as Supreme Court bimo me did this in the lawyers in court on.
Oh, was Sakwenya na so betumi akọ.
Oh, Akwenya pa.
Mate, counsel, mamena say any ebra wanya amayen. Lawyer John Agbote ena yene no atwetwe enkomo no. Nnawotwe dwumadie ena Oshaya Adom TV Asempa 94.7 ye live e wo hodom wa journey on radio ye da say. Na Kwabi Amoa e law lecturer yene no emonko Kwabi mache. That is saying. Enkomo ayedie uhunu emre woman as politics na hu.
Manya bi.
So you be Montesquieu can ask them say the gravest injustice is that which is perpetrated according to law. I'm just to paraphrase and I say we can it here. Now obi betima from Akwan so asa dunya. Emra de wo ho na emra no say it na ya am amamrem ye free be say emra de ma akwa na so use discretionary. Say enye emra no keke say be wo sande adwene bi to ho ne botai bi to ho a odi di mra no so.
Okay.
Na say me de ma afem so hwe kwan ya ye fa so Chief Justice here. Emra kwan mu de mi susu ye ne say pepepe process na esenke di so no ye di so pepepe. Na so asembisa ne say botai be na na etachire. Me kaka me ka so no efi de ye kan say we Ghana constitution nim na kwan ya ye fa so Chief Justice no. Emma mampanyin so much power. Se mampanyin bi aye na adwene say we si ne bo so betima Chief Justice very easy say obey Chief Justice no. Inti say emra kwem onye mra kwem say misbehavior na a grave enough for instance right from Charlotte say time na nipa bebre lawyer for bebre esusu say kwan fast use Charlotte say no ene nioma na the complaints in here ene say the near atum say na the complaints there na we breach procurement laws no enka emra kwan emra fofo bi wo ho a ema kwan bi ma ye faso edi ni di na say enka ma na kwa faso ma ye ni di na say enka eja no ho a and so the petitioner no ne committee ne the Chief Justice there no and jantum sa na o san same process here the ma problem eba ho and say even before say and this for better power no no market can so my media we dey eba you know you know because I dey to abawie na obi kan be argument so by one man time be Chief Justice enti say what it is ansemi na amanfo echeche different problems obi see unanimous FC say now later you go through the process ni yina na etima outcome etimi ma question motive no kwan na dey no especially say even kwan na ye fast you no complaints na no mo ka say waiting e pesi yi no enye no ho petition e bai no mo see ye call case we ye ndi amaye ye call case we bia 7 ni nyina ekotiae enso mi susu ye mu ni de nka okotena bench no so a obi a wo bia na responsible for their individual decision in the court. It is a court making decision a enye papa say me ma dream chem say e be share Chief Justice enti cause Chief Justice no say ye back court ne ti so no not so bia or ye just head administratively but decision making there obiya with the same power obiya decision back and they make a decision until yes if you are chief justice the empowerment powers is a power and I say to me a mano so for your mom panel no nyina account but maybe the mimi susu ye mu ne there and say them sika no kan no problem kesi e wo ne kwan fa chief justice kuko bi ti America enye simple sir so more parliament more two chamber system into first no ebeko house of representatives the one e be trial no aye hwehwe ni mu ni nyina ka so okay the why nyina no odi be man odi for
okay
na se ho no kra na ye impeach wie no ye be sa de waba the senate na senate na decide say ya ka we nyina wie o ye be ma wa kwa na se ye ma wonko na ohwe two step process na betimi akomu no na chese wa bremu ye so Ghana ha ye hwe process
ntenye situation say nipa num nipa na bi ye say bonko ye dwuma mofa advice mra
ha na enya advice we kwa enya advice binding recommendation your constitution be kasa advice sebe opa na diso but we there sa recommendation nya be do man panyin ni mu a yo hye na ehwe process no chief justice ye ni sen mampanyini obi mampanyini petition na mampanyini ne council of state ahwehwe mu say even though yenye ntie wano asem na yenya nja dance no kra no asem na waka no se adanse no etimi che say yampa ingina so wo mu ana asem bo ho a na ehia kra say be beje adanse efri say adanse no kra ebe so kra na sa asem no yentimi fa yin chief justice efri ho a na mampanyini at the committee mampanyini na decide the obetna so you see judges for Supreme Court me and na sebe anipa mpese meka man fra but Ghana for aka so miensa enti man pay no timi betimi kase mpese me you may pa 5 for me favor me when kase sa dey see you but me say the brand city no obi betimi manipulating sa omukọ no mko make your decision ya the esa ya kaka omu so so everything man say kukwemu asem enti sebe obi e jaja when you say assembly a wo di bia no the normal no Ghana obi a ati bi na nchima be kai nti e ade a e ma accountability because obi anim say na man ko eni a da che be ka say we papa o ma ko be ka say papa na koye decision we a na enye papa nti as part of accountability no say ye ade a eni kukuamu a e mo obi ada na ho so
okay
but we kukuamu asem say bin kidi say ke nyoma mu nsem kan ke bi pie me ka ho asem nti ekukwemu asem no so bi obi ye de opekra na onim say enko abonten
na eba no sa ruling no eba abonten
debi
eno so ise se ba
ekukwemu asem say adwenpo na we chie ni say de ye judicial initiative no ese ye bo ho ban e bia se pro bia komuna ye de ni nyina abeto abonten a na egu sa institution so ho fin na ho so na se bia temu wo nti say amanfo no enya akokoduru ana rehye mu say bibia ekoso yie wo ho a ade a embo man em say no ne adwenepo a say bia de akiri mem say be ne sa de nya adwen ka mem de misusu emu ne say so obie kro na nisu a ne wuntem say hu say we ni de enkoso yie na afi no ye de nhyehyeye say na ato ho acorrect a dabi no obia be bibia obadwene hu mienu
meda say kobi amoa na otene kano na mame ko zoom na mene shame ma muslim ono eye kasama for abedi akire e ma ban no shame ma che
meji so say
ya nua ene do ba yiro ho pa uchi no ayo de keka bo
so hene me kan ya me si AC o hene o si me be twi panel discussion o si me pa o dim say AC o hene me start panel discussion na in the program so in 2007
okay
2007 ewo TV Africa na me start here na me ba Fridays na AC host enti o ya me papa enti enra osamo na me no
na only choice
me kan bia enye yi enti onya botare mama no pay me no triglish kakra.
Yeah, Tisha Wima.
Me studio guest no so.
Yeah, say that say so yet you be our mampani atena na de de kan me gidi say enkrata mo de ba bonten a officially my chief justice afi ho no feedback e ba nyina no mati bi ebisusu se amanyosem wo mu e chen emra no safo no e de na be ka kire mo anopa yi
me da say de me enije pa ne say one more feel say I'm on the politics more than Brano. A very minute minority to say micro minority now more parliament no. Because I no pay utie while studio guests now scan the entire environment. Neutrals, experts, fair-minded Ghanaians who have been in the system for so long, no. Omunyina agree say President John Dramani Mahama wantia bra kwan biaso. De oyeye no enwana constitution no ema no kwan say obetimi aye as a president such petition has come before him. Ena yenyina yenim say we cry the first time presidents receive petitions. And as government, what we are interested in is that the former Chief Justice was giving a fair hearing. And an invitation to discuss and debate tangential issues with the aim of improving our constitution. Na ye kanu sampo a eye menije se enra yara CDD ye ko na omo ye public lecture be about making your constitution deliver democracy. And munim say constitution review commission na ye a committee na ye set it up under the leadership of H. Kwesi Prempeh, who cannot be described as a member of the NDC, but ono a consistent observer of our democracy. All of them, every right-meaning Ghanaian knows that your constitution has served us well over 32 years, but gaps ewo and previous attempts at reforms and materialize it. So let's have the tangential conversations around some of these very vexed matters and see how we strengthen the provisions in our constitution that will make it reflective of our contemporary times and expectations. Sentiments need a bit to me. I share all the sentiments because obia e won adofo. Even sebi am robber. Otimiko kun obi e fan no japade or the befia or the behwe ne nkrofo. Am robber o kun nkrofo kra e wa adofo. Much less a chief justice of such high standing. So obviously, she must receive the support that she deserves from not only her family, but from the new patriotic party, who can be accused of being the reasons for the problems are more facing. Because Obia can say the optics of MPP4 becoming the frontline defenders and spokesperson for the Chief Justice, only reinforced perceptions say they perhaps pushed her to take certain decisions that led to the impression that justice was being procured towards a certain outcome in favor of the new patriotic party. Denti Ameka Sani say, the same way ebeto, unim say eneye kan emfa Shamima ana government spokesperson, your position said the courts had been desecrated by undue influence and bias. And fire them because obviously like I say, yeah, politics and it's fair politics say you be criticizing institutions that we think or more actions or more inactions affect you negatively. But researcher echo so admire the science, the data behind sentiments now. Many Ghanaians, including NDC, including fair-minded Ghanaians, Mr. Ansar, sorry, On the NDC, or a law lecturer of immense repute. Ninsema waka over the years regarding the quality of judgments are ever from our courts.
Okay.
Obiaji said the courts no omunya infallible. In fact, the internal logic of our court system recognizes the fallibility of judges, of judgments, of outcomes. Ntina utimiko court, udi bema, utimiko ye appeal. And so when Niswa ultimately the court, Supreme Court even to the highest level, or to vindicate your rights as a citizen, our rights, our constitution, and edema. And it say Afrobarometer towards the end of last year, on last report, and make a very bold claim. Say, under the Nana Bawumia government, institutions, trust in our accountability institutions, commission, judiciary, police, like majority of our accountability institutions, almost say trust in those institutions are performed to an all-time low because of the actions of the government and the president. Obia Eka said, removing a chief justice through laid down procedures and putting our powers to me as a president to deliberately, intentionally erode the independence of the judiciary by your overt and covert actions. No, it's what is more dangerous. Afrobarometer conclusion yes say judiciary had been reduced and their image had become tattered as a result of their tinkerings promoted, pushed by the government then, which is the New Patriotic Party and more opposition as a result of this action. And see, if you have come from that perception rooted in verifiable judgments, tangible actions, like this, the situation involving SAL, a whole constituency for 4 years, Omwenya representation because the will justice decided, say, they will grind very, very slowly towards a certain end for a certain interest. Sano se ekobane say you now are facing such a challenge which your predecessor Bikra faced. Even former Chief Justice Sofia Okufu, there were petitions also, but the president did not act. He only chose to act on the petitions of Charlotte Osei. Yakoba Kunsua okore Loretta Lamte. Na ye John Mahama no wo. And I the petitions by. Now even in the nature of the breaches now here with Loretta Lamte say basically it was misconduct in the area of misuse of public funds or the public funds currency accommodation at a very expensive benchmark while she was awaiting her official resident. It led to her removal. Then also an independent state institution. Oba Charlotte Osei claims against her procurement breaches, which couldn't be proven to have benefited her directly. Breaches no anya se okowie sika ekodiye won say one follow due process in some procurement matters. Was that a serious offense to merit the first time removal of a head of an important and sensitive institution, say Electoral Commission? Now so Omanpenyin then Ekufuado ekache and say ontimi nya ho hwe because petition enaba adentina it looks like say MPP omo aban mu a omo feel say they have the right to disrespect yenina and take decisions that omo feel say justifies omo interest and now say are legitimate, but ekoba say a different government take similar decisions on even more serious matters. Me post say accountability. There are institutions they must strive towards they may describe it as near perfection.
Okay.
Near perfection because of powers are almost if wrap up on this. Judiciary one of that such institution.
Okay.
Especially judges. My sister, judge na utimi eko nenim utimi decide say where the bim and now say where the for which one is you are guilty. Guilty is what? That you are guilty. Where odi for? And because of that, ultimately take you liberty away from you. Liberty a constitutional amount. A judge na ultimately pronounce guilt on woneme. Judge na obetimi pronounce death on you and I.
Okay.
In fact, retaining God-like powers. And to say any institution must rise above all other institutions a judiciary. And it is a bit out of place to say judiciary, including the head of the judiciary, who must remain sacrosanct, say ni stated misbehavior light. And the lightest of misbehavior must merit the strongest of consequence.
Mate,
because
but
I was saying on taking burden of heavy consequences. Is it the citizen? Is it the person who has bought a stolen phone and order in Sawam for 15 years? And now we are an ear of some tubers of yam and order in Sawam for 7 years.
Mate, but Mami Misa Semwe Wadaroma. Mami Misa say ebra sasa asema wokan justice na in fact Supreme Court justice at the time e was justice ani yeboa. In 2022, Mampanika said Oman Yehia, a new Chief Justice said the broken image of the judiciary, and they said, "Yeah, as a womudia eto so man for any woman bimuno, now a justice and yaboa and a tejum." In 2023, a new Chief Justice, Eba Ebetna Sawayan Juma, Obibeka said, now Mampani expectation say, or many benya new Chief Justice no Ghana enya for frana eye Justice Gertrude Tokunu nti eba ne san na still new Chief Justice eba ye no na monsusuye mu no still no ano broken image ni gusu ho na ye because of mampani akufo na appointing panyifo mienu nti na sana manto ya ba ne ya na
susuemu eye nyina enye government esusuemu na meka kire wo no entie government tie independent institutions now omo watch ye democracy no omo conclusions say the government then had tinkered too much with the judiciary. The government then had exercised undue influence in the judiciary. The government then, under the president, had ensured that the image of the judiciary had been brought to an all-time low. To be fair, as for having issues with the judiciary, and yet MPP time in Kwa, even MPP4, even Omo as a political party, they've had issues with the judiciary over the outcomes of elections, including even election petition now. The call for 8 good months after John Mahama winning the elections. No, the assembly echo court and they had issues with the judiciary. People have always had issues with one judgment, and I make say, and yet perfect institution, but because justice must be seen
politicians
happening.
Because politicians have always had issues. And were ruling na say MPP ne waswa ruling na Supreme Court judge for the beba and this was problem. Send this in a waswa ruling na Supreme Court judges the beba or more problem. So that's say more to see NPP and DC debiano judiciary no a compromise. We was a compromise. We was a compromise.
There's a very objective assessment and there is subjective assessment.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, no, system no eba yenina yenima. objective assessment, including you as the media who followed the matter. Because any media, Juma say, Omobeye, he said, she said, and now o the government ba, o the opposition ba, who sound so echo neutrals, experts to come and also make their points known.
Okay.
And the conclusions, no, if they tally with the conclusion of NDC, does it mean say NDC no more seeking a certain mind outcome? They all these cases that have been in our public domain, they are neutral, objective-minded statements regarding some of those things.
Okay.
Sometimes we're wrong, sometimes but most times, especially with this particular matter, the jury is out. Say NDC government, John Mahama, on the Bonibia, because the character of President Mahama, Obia anyone who encounter President Mahama, say or vindictive spirits say Bonibi eshenimu, and I say et be eshenimu. President Mahama ni a time bia emma Justice Gertrude Tokonu.
Okay.
To what? In fact, or are very sensitive to these matters, and at all time or insist say all the processes must be transparent and fair and just. Intina or submittee petition Emma justice upon her request, even though not a brain drew you say obe receiving.
Mate.
That same courtesy was denied Charlotte or say. Sometimes Crawford say, oh, are there more comparison and they be comparison to what? Ye compare it to Bonibiana, say ye compare it to Papa B. Say, oh, compare there to a proper precedent, and ye say undi Bonibia. Say, oh, compare there to bad precedent, and ye undi Bonibia. So sure. NPP4, they really are the last people to be engaging in the kind of politicking on this matter, because omo guilt no esunye pa ye de nyama ni nyina etutu so a nyama ye with omo tumi no, it pales into comparison with what is happening under this particular matter. It pains me to no end that a few women in public life have had to face these kinds of actions. But they be America and say na many young women be dinkita America say of women in public office who have had to go through a certain process or scrutiny, which many women will go through. Many women will go through excessive scrutiny in their line of work.
Okay.
Now, yes, you say why ye bibia and was say you face the consequences, all right. But of every example we have of a woman that has gone through a certain process because of Onoa stated misbehavior whilst in office, we can have 3, 4, 5 examples of other women who survived in that office. Those stories continue to inspire us.
Mamefa, my last question, ya no abone tewa mame. Bra modern krata ne betu ja officially a mampani eyi ni free hono mo no. Ye hunu se Ra Felix Kwatio for sun krata ni mo no state se enyina so ntia abedwako no e de sa recommendation ba se mampani yi no entumi meto abonten san se ye kokomo ade ani chebi ne hunu se ne nyina da abonten ya na ye Rakalistos Mahama ensa esase e na ebaye de na obeka afa wade na ke wose ye kokoma beto abonten
in fact petition no, even when the petition was transferred to the original petition, petitions were transferred to Council of State to determine whether prima facie case had there was a prima facie case to be answered. No. Ya na Asasi Radio started serialize the content of the petition. Asasi NPP4 radio. Me paucho masem. Me paucho sa leak no free government. We stood to gain nothing from the leak of that petition. Asasi Radio serialized it. Paul Adom Orchary, good evening Ghana, serialized it. If an omunya me this latest one because of this, the presidential office at the seal, confidential seal, to the copy that went out to the Chief Justice. So the letter that you have seen is not from your office. Because that copy was the confidential seal, so just so say elikia where it came from. Right from the office, one person from that office of the president, Executive Secretary Dr. Callistus Mahama office. And now, sa letter no, free no, ne hand straight to the former Chief Justice. And to mean free government. To what end? Na government bepe say only keep the findings.
It is a free government want to buy a funny free. Sabima, if you same free mobile free.
Just bisa one man almost nya letter no say anembia omu the letter na ema obiana because I'm free government. And I maybe say government are aye ejumai all throughout in such a clean manner no. To what end more if you say a Chief Justice to konuan kasana oko court say or person on very provisions on in camera no because she wanted it to be a public hearing.
Okay.
Actually, government and I make that recommendation. And now a Chief Justice Nankasa and now can say she wanted a public hearing. And a public hearing now. And so be all the witnesses that came, their testimonies, but you can say they be it is in her own interest to say as a public hearing matter. So the constitution and the framing of those provisions were quite clear. Say a in camera to protect the institution, to protect
Mate, Shamima, mebre, 85 mamena se ne adaje wanyama ya no pay why me gidi se ye bedi nkobo biem ye kwagene no Shamima Muslim ye panyi abedi akira wakasa wo mampani atena ye na ye no edi nkobo no memra studio na me ne yewra azuma danse akrofom emra sebedwani na kobi amoa ye lecturer na ye nto aso I think say ye be wie wo this topic ni ahye ye next issue a ye bedi mu kobo ye kwa Akwatia na no bnada na by election na by election ene sedia eho ensemotie na megiri se ye kase no unim outcome a free Akwatia ye NDC age seat no free MPP for nsemo ene se akomi obade mfa ne kransie ye ene wini seat no with over 2000 votes ema NPP said na nkoye sa campaign na wo anye ne ye ebi kase disunity as a party na kase no munye organize enom de call sa campaign na result in we yeni eno so ehunko mo na afei ati ahye se bibi wo hwa be hwe frɛ Akwatia na ye de no so atomo ama wo ma me hwase ewo honorable Zuma ho na musikiti e de wo Akwatia mo de ko wini city no okobi
no mankobi yeah man to me na me wo me constituency
okay
me buy so assignment bebre wo higher anti or if you had the Nnawotwe mu media kwani aba wa ha from Adom TV Adom FM Asempa so ne yamso ye hwe akiri
okay
ba na yenim say deployment ya no and the results no beba indeed and the results no aba na mekano throughout this last week and this week say me who the organized me who any organized party NPP in these elections they are not organized
okay
now anytime be a make us be my opponent from the NPP no on person betias here oh and this any idea and I repeated the same thing on Asempa only for after the show now me got videos ni be a national vice chairman Buga or some Buga all can say Oman ko organize. Na edaya the acting national chairman Buta. Kura bedem kura na yasem no no so sa Buti.
Yeah.
Na no more da there so. Okaya kan say ba na o makoje dan ya na ma bi ne da dan no. You see. So some elections be to say ya. Over there no we win elections no. And me makan over no time over you say throughout the campaign, me monitor or more on social media, TV stations and radio stations. The former vice president for Ghana and the leader of MPP just ended elections. We have opportunity call. The very first, me hear na owie in the casa na me who say there's no way MPP beat my winning seat.
Okay.
Oh, say with the position as vice president, na say by elections about constituency we now call. Now want me anka point to 1, 2, 3 developmental projects be our yadiama constituency na. And no a issue. The tosu mienu. Se wo ko na say nsema ni kwan say e wo ba bia waduru no wo na wo ka na wo ka. For instance, doctor so within so there. Ba wo nye medical doctor na say doctor wo hwehwe nipa pomodin ne ho kwani aba optosi ni na say for wo nye. So wo nye opportunity na be kire wo no be kire Ghana for the kuenes yakumi nyamemfa ne currency you know ye menua sebe ye nyina wo fie ba akom. Wo be kire de ku no na wo associate to court obi de ne court. So wo mo de ne court sa na pressure nto mo wi case na 26 days or something days no money free mo a. Ebre kwa wo nso wo ya wo campaign na be flag bearer no wo so wasum MPP pa ne mu ba ko pa na say 2012. Omo hwe de okoye no court. Wo ka petitioners a omo de omampani John Dramani Mahamadan a court. Na se court ku nipa enti wo de Mahama court 2012 no his excellency say onko wu ana. So o ka asem ni wie no na amanfo busa sa questions no. Patriot ya say
me too.
Enti wo fa no wie na wo hwe ayi ne da no omko fa nipa bi say
Nnawotwe dadie dadie nan po.
Say omunya basabasa ni ade na wo head the conduct of NDC.
Na the basabasa na ko so no MPP na kushare da ko form so me.
Na say omu empanimfo yi te ho. Ena ye national chairman eba. Ena ye empanimfo oba. Ena say ye nyam omumu wom. Na empanimfo ye se panit na fie ma enkola we na nka ye kan na nka wefo a ye kan ne kan ho ma na ye yi. Enum nyina achi no the candidate MPP for yi na modern ekon wutie Akwanya wonya na sa da no so ne nsem wo kan ya makana baby na besa kan ha say
okay
na ye te say sebi oba ni kunu afrim agya no na obe kan tribute ana be ma na yire afrim agya no na obe kan tribute se me bobo ne nsem ni bi so a yakumi wahame enye say na wona me kan ye na nipa bebrebe a wo do o magya min mede na mahwe wo mo enye say na me no kan ye na kan me yobolo sisi ahwede me so mafo amaka me so atia amaka da hotwe mienu pe. So these are something that where's aya na nka wutia so say me man hwe no live na aye me say me as a tribute to be and all kind ama the widow kunani no enti na won prepare ana information amanya kire say how mo pick candidate no Omanko elections no na create some kind of a yibi wo pa MPP and that I must say enko omo wo influence in the constituency throughout the campaign. I must say yes, so anko one place anko a campaign because according to information you will be yenya no yes say na I must say no wo the choice of the majority of the MPP people the members. But omo attribute to say aligned to Canada, Japan. Nti yem fa obi o
na wote nsem
o what's your teacher ni ye teacher nsem nti what's me can me can say sa me say
ye ba wote tum say party bia wo position na Akwatia a swing constituency party bia eni tumi wo so and say amanyoko bi e wo position den ese swing constituency no obenya wote tum sa
enya ntem say ato aba wi
na ato aba wi na MPP omunya asan no mo wo he
what's up, but constituency, Amunya, most of 19,000
plus. You say that is the data.
The entire mechanics almost saying, and I am a quarter. Yeah, Chairman.
But say court to really be.
Would them have been 19,000. Now, less than a year, or let's say within 8 months, you're quarter about. Now, NDC need to be free. Is it 15,000 or so? No, when you 1,000 plus account. Now we reduce it by 4,000.
Okay.
And yeah, there I can be papa a form.
But that's
but because you see, I know MPP, you know. Send a mechanic, no, because I do baby, I mechanic.
For only that
a break. And you see, I'm running up Orlando or Casadema MPP in Ashanti region. Can say by election, Babanta Makura. NDC be winning. Now, say I assume I almost say beya. Say bibi ba yan trans na yan can contested by elections be.
Okay.
By you say you invite to Bank Moba Tamale Central.
One can the front am the koye. Nam you united and also be akoye ne dia basa.
Medawase. I think the first thing I did back home see or why some condemning. They are Papa Sofa Avoka. I think he's still one of the vice chairman. Said yeah, obviously or attack yes, your vice chairman, Chairman Masawood.
Sir Akwatia police. Asha say yeshimu. Yes. Yahun sir Ira Richard here. So they petition a comma IGP. Which
is in line. Okay. But the act itself is condemning. Say by election, especially Akwatia more violent history. I think 2009. I call by election. Born and North into. And then your man can see what Ablikuma North here. And I think it's your home. Na we dey mpanyimfo na emu sebi wenye machofo we kan yaka so bi na show machi mpanyimfo na emu na ba ho attack ba ho sa no I think say the optics itself no na nye I dare say me condemn it no crane back to MPP issue I think say MPP see as a party no bibia ne pepepe yenjina yi na no ya dare as a party for yehu ne tie ase say since 2024 election na said the party no maybe to say muka de yen election ndi ncho kese sada if you say de bia no wo hwe numbers ne de bia be can be but de bia no your election a enye hwe kra no ka vote enya previous election yet me maintain and enya kakra ka ho whether win or lose now we 2020 election MPP team nya 6.7 million votes na so team hwe about 4.6 million votes in there na che say party na kasa bibi nkoye ye free ho e ma yeti abegyako enokra no sabi ye papa chairman sa so koye ono ane de ma enokra na mafo condemn say ono so koye ne de beto abonten
okay
I be preempt de abegyako my query committee no e de e ma my query committee akoyo investigation you see there's a report as to why we lost the election up to now even members of parliament cry no intimi brief you on this report Mkoye report you see there was just an executive summary briefing to the members of council. Now yakwa election. Ni yakwa kunya yakwa report here any hwehwemu aba. And this is our biggest loss ever. Ye votes no so take by 2.1 million votes. Ni yakwa hwehwemu ehu de enti lose here. Adenti na key people all party nim panyimfo. Yen brief you on yen council report ni na mo bia ende there be. Na yen brief you on key aspects of the report. MP constituency. When da anko ye. Say na mo ye. Say na anko so ama ye. Regional executives musumu de ni. Constituency executives musumu de ni. Na ka ye ma ye say okay report no. Aba na say secretary eba.
Okay.
Eso efisi elusu ye no. Nyoma kwa na ekobone. Hwe ye kwa Ablekumanof. Party ye be ko ye nko. Finally ye ko ye basa. Akwatia, it was a season that we shouldn't have lost. NDC to be honest, you show more nipa me no na high stakes parties in you know, high stakes for more high stakes for MPP than NDC. If the NDC no sabi omo de omo independence ka ho a omo two tiers ka on manya wi. 2 seats in MPP na we ne. Think MPP we ne ya ka hwe eni ho biem. Most of the time you can so be na get by election and like a lot of sympathy back. So oh the yam support you on trying legacy so. And they said then can honorable in the school me wu ya idea. No cry no. It was right after court the sound court because we did them wu ya idea. I think even sympathy look on MPP side and MPP so you have then you see here. As a party no yetimi tina near problems or party nim they solving them. Yes,
blame the leadership of the party say omo ye disorganize omo ka ho bi na ma as a party no nyama eye basa some are qualify so mo nyina e wo some yom free wo blame mo say bi
me there you see it's not even just about the leadership MPP na no we need a very serious overhaul
but the current leadership no
starting from the flag bearer represented in the past election
be the make say now no the akoso the Ablekuma North by ye can Akwatia constituency seat to the MPP no necessary mulusu.
Yes.
The leadership na as a front is anima we nyina and the results we ba encouraging.
Systemic crisis yaba MPP mo a esi di hu djuma starting from your flag bearer no call the last election. MPP as a party party to say MPP you lose election. Even the first month after you lose election, you went to a workers' car. This one about in Japan, the discount come out party for 3 workers' car. Party as a party, MPP. You ain't me the way ingenuity fans say party, your bank account saying you party DBI event and I didn't guess your bath now. I said, you're fresh amount for Edgiska.
Now, someone national treasure. More treasure.
The treasurer is supposed to manage the funds.
It is a cabin of managing.
And only ask them no. To say yeah, anymore came to complain bitterly. Means one about in Japan so I can answer. Say party even flag bearer elections are equal krano. Sebi. Scapia do contest where any to just say the 4 million series LVB 2 aspirants so now or mark of farmers in run elections in the party. Is this also called flag bearer and people want you should have 4.6 million. Now party Sebi akwa election na party nyoma nko yi. Next time you to your boss na yehye nyoma kakra no mpanyifo bi san akotena ase bo say yes to from top to down party and kaida yank yesi den kin say Kausi Foundation na wo to no kakra polling station na problems all yes solve it na mo dey yankoto flag bearer yes to from top to down party in fact the party mpanyifo mo na mo kan say Michael Kwe report kakra with my pony ho a say Michael Kwe say any extension of the delegate system. That be being anything because if people who say delegates no pen na sebio or more enjoy and other people enjoy. And so much akwoti just akwoti see esidua say sa delegates no emudodo na be 98% no. Omo na yes am from nkoto the next flag bearer.
Nye delegates na na call University of Ghana Sports Stadium e call ye kwaji tu.
Party no so share your delegates base your party delegates base polling station executive base you be 210,000.
But some kwaji tu.
Omo call University of Ghana kwaji tu normally be 5,000. Just the people at the top who are the constituency executives, not the whole delegates base. Now say party no and once say my minister say kaka say about call primaries. Now you should start in such a way say these same people are the people who have the power to vote. Now, can you because way almost a chair class and you move free her, dear to mount, and will be a miana. And a party, ye party in ya. Oh, now you're hopeful, but didn't tell your man quay. You didn't go 7 and one if we say party in your man after election. Now you didn't took a season and I think you're too. You should send your may, What's in so much of Bugaka? That's it. Then I found. And me kafa hon say first of all no it is all about the structure of the party. So how come say party no as me say you fund them cry they call Akwatia no in my opinion me I don't mean executives then kasa mum but in my opinion and from the me trajectory econo me sure say be a conference kakaka dey be call election kan na bi ni ho because kay was kan dey be call election na enka the party system na enka administratively no ke be say be executives no hotel ni you say na asa akwa say we be a general secretary afre nipa ba akwa de kakraba we afre kakra de kakraba to make the party very disorganized. Na chairman say chairman Bute so afre secretary a week to by election secretary and pekene quarter
na mo de kwa abato so
the me lawyer ni say me secretary and chairman buti na ndi ho komode
ba see esi bobo chichi free so say be catch us the chairman wa wonyi nti no chairman buga wa on
mo mi no nyina number me from akon
obo ana na say kwa so conference anu aba
ntimi nko say wan catch me so o be kasa
nti wa de party ne kono manage on
no say me aba catch say party ne de no ma ebi wo ho a enkoye wo ho
ma me sa yenim say incumbent party ya na ewo power to say NDC wo power yi wo hye oman yi ya bakosema by elections akonyina no ya na party no ewini especially our swing constituencies baby one ma traditionally no we say a party we dia it a found party or power no obegini seat but areas we no until no be say shada nya nwanwa sa say NDC ewini ana chamazuma we say nya nwanwa
me say aye nwanwa
say
because say NPP for a share kasa say o mine kra no Yenjina ye amanfa ye disappointed in the government so fast that yentimi yandi 1 year kra public trust confidence in the government no ko form ne ade enti nanke be wini kra hwe margin what you say so nya wini keke but the margin the difference between ye ne the NPP eno ye ekasa ama obi ahu say ene na what say global info analytical or the ne research is about biblia or can say the direction of mampani Mahamade or mine economy Ghana for do one agitum but ye kwatna TV and radio stations are ye ne anuan MP before they be obsi there be confirm ko he so we adansi di a kire say ye nka say ye nya bibia perfect no Nema ye dey see ani so ye be ya e be ma government Ghana I reset no aye gu so aye reset no ye nya emu be 30%.
Okay.
Ye wo nema kese asisi ye ni so pa ye pese ye because oman no over the last 8 years no nema bebre jinse mu nti egu so aye ye but the ma ye ni gene say Ghana for no dodo na etiaban no government na say the all ye no onam kwa paso and the akoso wa hana kire and that them people
mama fa me phone lines into job beto aso me the phone lines no etu job betumi afre if you sabre ya e de echo 0302 211701 0302211702 0302211703 and na 0302211704 ofra babia frefini udin na wonsam no waye ne tietie mo amame onabazuman metio
enti meno government bia so betimi aye ye pa ohia in the democracy ohia responsible opposition
okay
say o betimi aye organize so mo ye nipa num kra enti ye ko parliament a ye the motion bi ba say anka wo he numbers na ye do so chen o more than 2/3 no pa cho ti ase ntinka a back floor debate ni ade a NDC 2 nanka MPP nipa ba kwa kasa.
So manyantum.
Yes, speaker said there be democracy and boldness. We have to listen to the opposition as well. Meaning say we respect ebi ankomo nanka abamba be NDC ni obi anim no. But omo no munya opportunity we nko ebi ankomo NDC 3 MPP 1. E just NDC aban any NDC emu nipa no you respect democracy. You respect the minority. What we want them to do is that they should organize their party well.
Okay.
For winning power there. Niema o ma yeti o ma ni de wo o ma si agu o ma ni ma se. Ase yesika se ma ne niema bibiri anko yie no. Ebe ye den say ye benya trust wo mu ma san ba aban mu animani but they should organize their party because NDC ye kwa Akwatia no. Ya anya hwe kra no ne ye wo operational ye kind of unit. And we MP, we minister, we DC, we why na say wo se wo kwa Akwatia, wo kwa ha kwa campaign. And yes o kodu anu ati say mo. Wo be kwa command center. Ne ya ma assignment dey say kwa ha. Ura ha wo ye de watu ha. Say ne ye no. But the MPP was so disorganized that vice chairman, fresh chairman won fa. Yes organize and so akọ dan e ma ma bi na gum na menim e ma no adwuma mo kọ ye no sa campaign nim. So bibia na Ashia for no hwe na ochena because menim say 2024 ba o mia ka quarters unim say ba o mia wasa kokko 2024
metio
obeko mon record we
2024 say atowi
sorry 2028 America 2028 more recording to 2028 but we have a court because almost structure na oh no almost structure na almost structure ma who say what can masa anko ya mamo munji ntum because ade dada na no mo de ba what you say ade no kaba no ma form kwan fa so mo de ba omi aba ye no so mo ko to free ase ho ba se ne normal unity na ye be se ase ho fo na ma bia be ka soro ana omo a powers ni kuto omo sesi aso se nipa ye pe na ani we na wo ha ye be comfortable we na wo ha ye betima ye sei se part ni be gukura na ye ne be ya se ne pe no enti sa top down approach yi de ba wo bia no wo hia hwe na wo de ahu
okay
akukọ de mu ye nyina na akukọ brema nkwan
me da se
ni we be firi mu aba na minim se ni nyina achi nu so omo be ye no omo wi a
party delegate
e omo sa ka na pe e omo sa ka na pe ba papa ne be court enti sa asem na koka na Akwatia so obi de obi court a na okokun no se ohwe ye na 2028 no wa ono so amfa obi an court
bate
because on the nipa court pa yen so be ka che o ye be ka che ba omi ase o peso okunipa no which emwa
Honorable Joseph Azuma na Nnawotwe ne kan ode na be kan
we me say Honorable Joseph Azuma peso e candidate ma MPP but yeah very many wo who say wo be bia be ma no easy am but yeah man you candidate ma
o yo bi amoden be easy
MPP delegate no omo ho party no omo party for omo Ghana for free no omo nim de oba omo ne beji tumi amaye
okay
nti nyame adoma me nim set first here omo yo no abo candidate pa na be di
party be da say Edward Machin Daddy.
Hello.
Ofrefin.
The community center mayor.
Patriotio.
Yo, the chair will keep for another day. Now, maybe I will America phone and I'm afraid what your entity need to run a rent.
Honorable Azuma.
Azuma, where?
Aye.
So, for parliament, that you are manifesting.
Bema Kasayeti, why?
The way you feel that the MPP is now opposition and I on the day of Tabau. Dr. Tabau, you have a court. Almost no obvious visitor down get to Yaba. If you are a every, and I will pray almost tell you on the board and Dr. Tabau here, among what you are the Kia of Tabau. I say, among the Kumboy. That's another Tonyton say, 5 years. And when you are the room, I forgot to be here, the Kia, which I say, we are young and we catch no problem. It's only 7 years. Now, Doria, Mukukia, Mukata, Nico, Muko, the Banning Way. And then Doria, after Jan Mutua or Nico. Now, I said, Mamma Father Namwa, Con, Ewa, a subway, and I'm a comache. Pukua, Thomas. Nana, it's you.
Abra oma mahini ya obedi kui o ma ne na de da baby zara ye ne
eti why
no go ta ni ma na ba ko de baby za o de men ga shi abra na min ji a incoming chairman yura wachi ebiako andra me te dira wachi ebiako e ba ko na sa chairman and me see quote that be part no e sign believe because Upon yeah, when now I'm on your same from you time. About me, I'm on your same year, boom, two or down, or Edda, our Buchin Wapa. Or when I tell my discipline, never a party. But let's let me party by for that. And do a bra, else the Omokane.
But I said, I'm a community bread, why? Never so, Martin. Nana was so.
Unyame asundi na
enka wo so yeti o
kashe mini abema MPP ni se ya o me kasa fitiem no onka odi a onga krampode
Matira musu ibefo
Mati nyame shira opa muni eduma aba so nyame shira opa twen kakra me kan se o ka se ye party no en se eye ejija ni en kan o yeba Dr. Mahmoud Boumieni John Boadi was a bit kitchen. How come see na kakra me katra Ghana for ne say John Boadi can be say government pontiff as a city in America jani biano said that biano say address sa no to ya government pontiff na so so ne makwa ye start to the mind no ya for today ye na Ghana for am dem wo jiji say that Dr. Bobia
Me family scholar William Martin. Oh, William to me and so naka o be last caller adopai ma me fa course no AC na afi ye fa dwumade ni nyina si utie yen ewo asempa 94.7 na medase wo hye so Adom TV ha so medase na wo twi dwumade bre na so Honorable Joseph Azuma na eye adanse krofom emra se bedwani wa santimante boteneka na kobi amoa eye lo lecture wo te ono so nka edinya megye so ene abena pokua when mother was say so jebre ehye na watwe sene ye besan asia biem production team ni nyina esi wo lasara technical camera sound omodoso bedamu nyina se esa wo jebre ehye onyame onsame onsa na onsa o micron Ghana yakra